This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
See the truth, no you don't have to lie to me. Don't fill your head with things and think you're free. I can smell the fear, I think you made clear. Yeah, I could be rude, be in the mood, I could be rotten. I could be cool, might like the fool, but never forgotten. Creeping in the dark.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know that. I know it. We all know it. It does not matter who the host is. What matters, as always, is who the listeners are, because that's always been the case. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods. Today is Monday, January the 29th of 2024, day number 29th of the year, of course, and only 337 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yes, infiltration in Radio Big has always been something that goes hand in hand. It's just kind of the way that it works out. So how have you been? Yeah, it's been a few days since we got last to hang out. It's been about a week to be exact. So should we start talking about what I've been doing, or should we kind of just leave it and go from there? So, I was in Washington, D.C. Yeah, Washington, D.C. over the last week, doing some very interesting things that I didn't think I would be able to get to do. But thanks to this show, I was able to go over there and do some stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit more as things do go on. Outside of that, well, life has been very interesting to see what's going on inside of the news lines and all that kind of fun stuff. No doubt about that. So, with that being said, just in case you don't know on how we do things around here, we'll talk about it. What we do is we are a show that talks about safety in the news and safety. Just the reality of how it goes. So what we do around here is we have some news stuff, we have some safety stuff, and it's all sprinkled in together as we are kind of corresponding and going through everything. So if you want to interact with the show, it's an easy process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. They'll get everything moving and grooving for you. No, seriously, they'll get everything moving and grooving for you. Once you do that, you'll have some options. You can do video chat, audio chat, or just text messaging. So an array of things to do for sure. So with that being said, call in radio. Let's do this. Let's talk about what the hell was trending in the news, because I think that is going to be important.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I look at the trends of the ends, it makes it interesting on what we're going to talk about today. No doubt about that. So we'll talk about the Russian stowaway that faces a jury and Americans dread tax season. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. Also, Vince McMahon steps down from TKO. We'll talk about that. And Chris Young is cleared. We'll talk about that as we get into showbiz. And Joja Sigua joins So You Think You Can Dance. And Dolly Parton is looking for some dollies. We'll talk about that. Also, Kardashian family members help promote Kim Kardashian's new makeup line. Is that important? And Brice Williams prioritizes his role as a husband over everything else. So we'll talk about all that fun stuff, because why would you not want to talk about it? So there you go. So with that being said, why don't we do some of this, some of that, some of the other? And when I say all of that, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in some professional broadcasters that will broadcast to their heart's desire about what the hell is going on inside of the world, because why would they do anything else? I mean, they're broadcasters. They're here to broadcast. So here is what we will have going on for sure. So with that being said, pro broadcasters waiting in the wing. Who do we have waiting this morning? Do you want to know? I always want to know. I'm always intrigued on who's waiting around to hear what the hell is going to go on next. So let's pop it over to, let's see, Trey Thomas. We're gonna have some Trey Thomas this morning in regards of what is going on. So let's go ahead and do that right now, for we can hear what exactly is going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio. I'm Trey Thomas. President Biden says the U.S. will respond after 3 American service members were killed in an overnight drone attack in Jordan.
We had a tough day last night in the Middle East. We lost 3 brave souls in an attack on our base.
Biden held a moment of silence for the soldiers killed during an event in South Carolina Sunday, calling it a tough day in the Middle East. It's the first time U.S. troops have been killed by enemy fire in the Middle East since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. Oklahoma Senator James Lankford says he believes the border bill will pass. Speaking on CBS's Face the Nation, the Republican lawmaker said a number of senators are making judgments based on internet rumors and other misinformation.
I hear this comment that it waves in 5,000 people at hands on work permits. All those things are not true.
Lankford downplayed any influence of former President Trump, who has called the bill a catastrophe waiting to happen, even though none of the text of the bill has been released. The social media platform X is hiring 100 content moderators for its new office in Austin. The main focus for the new hires will be to fight child abuse content. The company hopes to fill the positions by the end of the year. The Super Bowl matchup is set. The Kansas City Chiefs will battle the San Francisco 49ers in Las Vegas on February 11th. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid.
I thought our guys played hard, aggressive football. It always starts with the offensive defensive line. They came out, with a purpose here and played their hearts out.
It's the 4th time in 5 seasons the Chiefs have advanced to the Super Bowl. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Iran is denying involvement in a drone attack which killed 3 US troops. A Hong Kong court has ordered the liquidation of property giant Evergrande. Disposable vapes are to be banned by the UK government as part of plans to protect children's health. And Japan's space agency says its lunar probe has begun functioning again after losing power on the moon's surface last week.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
The House Republican is calling Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas the architect of destruction and says his actions warrant impeachment.
8 million encounters, 300 on the terror watch list, 200 million people dead now thanks to fentanyl poisoning.
Speaking on Fox News Sunday, Texas Congressman Michael McCall says Mayorkas is solely responsible for the amount of fentanyl and the number of people on the terror watch list that have come into the U.S. across the southern border. The head of a major global charity organization is calling the amount of aid that's getting into Gaza woefully inadequate.
We're looking at about 130, 150 trucks getting in a day on a good day.
Speaking on CBS's Face the Nation, Save the Children CEO Yanti Saripto said she spent time at the Rafah crossing during her recent 10-day visit to the region. She said there were hundreds and hundreds of trucks on the Egyptian side of the crossing waiting to get into Gaza. The 22-year-old Italian who knocked out the world's top men's tennis player in the semifinals is the new Australian Open champion. Fourth-seeded Yannick Sinner rallied from 2 sets down for a dramatic 5-set win over third-seeded Daniil Medvedev Sunday in Melbourne. The win is the first for Sinner in a Grand Slam event. King Charles is said to be doing well after undergoing surgery for an enlarged prostate. Queen Camilla visited him at the London clinic the day after the British monarch underwent treatment. It's unclear how long the king will remain in the hospital. Ahead of the procedure, the BBC says Charles visited the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, who had abdominal surgery last week. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with Home Title Lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the version takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacky? Safety trainers still preaching a warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with BIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take BIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, sounds like some risky business for sure when you're taking a listen at your own risk. No doubt about that. Anyway, 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this fantastic Monday. So let's talk about it. Global Safety Summit going down in 2024 down in Australia. Yeah, Australia. Are you going to be down there? No, seriously. It's a serious question when I ask that. Because we will be broadcasting live. Yeah, we're going to be broadcasting live from there. Would love to see you there. We'll probably get into some more information about that. Yeah, Global Safety Summit 2024. All kinds of things going on, no doubt. No doubt. Would love to see you down there if you're interested in going, of course. Yeah. Across the pond, as some say, or from down under. You know, it's your choice in regards to how you want to talk about it. So my gig is let's get into some news this morning because we have a lot of the stuff that is going on the shit list that we need to talk about. So let's take it from the very, 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 very top of things. The United States has issued a formal travel advisory for the Bahamas after the country registered 18 murders so far in January. Officials blame the crime spike in gang activity, which runs particularly rampant on the east of Nassau, the Bahamas capital city. Amid the crisis, authorities are implementing roadblocks and security checkpoints, which the government, they're cautious, will delay travel within and around the city. This is according to the New York Post. Now, listen, I was in the Bahamas a few months back. Not a terrible place, but hey, you have to take a listen to these travel advisories as they come into place because there's a reason they're put there. I mean, of course, there's always a reason that they're put there. You can't look at it and go, oh, no, there is no reason for it because there is a raison for it. No doubt about that. So what do you think when you hear stuff like that? If you had a travel plan to go to the Bahamas, will you still go? Or will you turn around and go, maybe not so much because of the things that are going on? I'm just asking because I want to have a better understanding of it. No doubt there. So there you go. Some interessante things going on inside of that form factor. No doubty yowdy right there. So I don't know. I look at it and I go, what is the best time to travel anywhere when you start hearing stuff like that? Because I get all freaked out on traveling just in general. Do you, or do you kind of look at all these travel advisories, or do you not take a look at them and go, we'll just run with the devil, or not run at all? I mean, I don't know. It's just some interesting stuff to think about. There you go. Anyways, farmers in France have pledged to continue to protest even as the government offered some concessions to their demands for the lightened agriculture regulations. On Friday, France Prime Minister announced an end to diesel fuel taxes for farm equipment and drastic simplification for some of the regulatory measures. In a speech, the PM emphasized that the importance of honoring the heritage and identity of French agriculture, and in a surprise twist, suggested that the government needed to reevaluate how it's about levying rules and regulations. And we have to be open a new chapter and change the mentality. Firstly, that the state, he said, then met with farmers nearby and the traffic blockade. Reps for the Farmers Union says that the deregulation doesn't go far enough. They expect to continue blockades and work their way towards Paris. So hold on. You will give me what I want. This is the way that it is. And the sooner you learn that, the better it will be. I mean, what exactly are we telling people here? If you don't give me what I'm looking for, I'm going to do a versionality of a blockade. That's what it sounds like. I mean, is that how you're interpreting that? Or are you going, nah, that's not what they're saying? Because I'm taking it that way. Yeah, because it sounds that way. That's for sure. So what do you think? Do you look at it and get, nope, you're off your rocker. Nope, you're looking at it right. No, you're looking at it wrong. I never know. Anyway, tax season is a study published by the Associated Press shows that 66% of Americans think that they pay too much federal income tax. Similarly, about 70% of their property taxes are too high, and 60% say that their state sales tax pinch their pockets a little bit too much. Only 6% say the federal government spends their tax dollars responsibly. 16% say that they're the same about their local school district spending. Half of the respondents say they'd be willing to pay less in taxes and get fewer government-run services. This is according to the Associated Press. So what do you think about this? I was at the let's see, at the west, what is it, the west side of Richmond, or how does it go? I mean, I don't even remember how it goes. Something to think about. Anyways, I'm having an audio issue here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump into something kind of long that we would normally not do real quick at this particular point. But I think for my audio servicing purposes, this will be the best thing to do. Because, I try to keep it as realistic as possible on what's going on, opposed to it being, oh, no, we can't talk about that. Of course we're going to talk about it, because that's what we're doing. So we're going to jump it forward. I'm going to do some Money Matters right now. So let's go ahead and take a listen to Trey Thomas.
The IRS is accepting 2023 tax returns starting today. Here's Dina Kodiak.
The agency says it's expecting over 128 million individual tax returns to be filed ahead of the April 15th deadline. This year, the IRS is rolling out several new tools it says will make filing taxes easier. Taxpayers who earn less than $79,000 can also take advantage of IRS free file tax software to file electronically at irs.gov. I'm Dina Kodiak.
The White House is celebrating the latest report showing the economy grew faster than expected in the last quarter of 2023.
Over 3% growth building on 3 years of growth under this president.
Principal Deputy Press Secretary Olivia Dalton told reporters it's good news for American workers. She claimed consumer sentiment is up as Americans are seeing the impacts of President Biden's economic policies. A major fast food chain flipped the bill for 7,000 Atlanta students' lunches. Katie Gray has details.
The Arby's Foundation Inspired Brands donates over $200,000 to wipe out student lunch debt in 4 metro Atlanta school districts. The Education Act initiative estimates that around 30 million students across the U.S. can't afford their lunch. Inspired Brand Stuart Brown tells Atlanta News First, lunch isn't something kids should worry about.
Kids are not designed for uncertainty. Kids need to know that they can expect when their meal is going to be there.
The payments are part of the charitable organization's $1 million effort to pay off lunch debt at 750 schools nationwide. I'm Katie Gray.
Wall Street closed mixed Friday to wrap up a winning week. At the closing bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 60 to 38,109. The S&P 500 lost points and dropped to 4890, and the Nasdaq fell 55 points to 15,455. Consumer and Business News. Trey Thomas, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Trey Thomas, for that. Apparently, Trey Thomas doing a little bit of everything this morning. Let me tell you what I was able to find. The Dow added about 60 points to close at 38,109 on Friday. The S&P lost about 3 points to close at 4,890. And the Nasdaq lost about 55 points to close at 15,455. West Texas Intermediate closed at $78 on Friday, and Brent crude was at 82. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.10. And Bitcoin gained over the weekend, trading just over 300. There was more than 2,820 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and more than 180 such cancellations. Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $311 million jackpot or $147 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for a $174 million jackpot or an $83.9 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. There is no doubt about that. Also, let's follow up to earlier this month. Airport security officials in Los Angeles detained a Russian man who arrived on a flight from Denmark without any tickets or immigration paper. Last Friday, the jury convicted the man, 46-year-old Sergei Arkiva, I think, of stowing himself away in the aircraft. An investigation showed that Sergei, closely following another passenger in Copenhagen through security turnstiles, camping out at the airport and boarding a Scandinavian airline flight destined to the United States. Once on board, he changed seats multiple times and requested multiple meals, steering the crew suspicious and resulting in his detainment upon landing. Sergei faces 5 years in prison. This is according to BBC. So there you go. Take a listen to this one. Bill Lillis, maybe the ultimate Swiftie, the self-proclaimed diehard fan, set a new Guinness World Record for identifying the most Taylor Swift songs from their lyrics in 1 minute. Let's see. Jandir had the identify the songs taken from the list for the best 50 selling songs or tracks, better saying. Only the beginning of the lyrics and no music in the background were read aloud, and he was able to name 34 correctly in 1 minute, breaking the previous record of 27. I didn't even know that this was a thing. Like, people had this as this is a thing to talk about, but I guess it is. Also, no, not the first rodeo. Jandir set the world record back in 2021 for the most animals identified from an animal sounds in 1 minute with 23. And in 2023, he broke the record for most Justin Bieber songs identified in 1 minute, which was 29. Is this something you really want to be bragging about? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a weird one. Anyways, let's talk about some box office news real quick. Let's talk about the top 10 movies in the box office. The Boys in the Boat, $2.2 million at number 10. At number 9 was Godzilla -1, $2.6 million. At number 8 was Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, $2.8 million. At number 7 was American Fiction with $2.9 million. At number 6 was Poor Things, $3 million. At number 5, Anyone But You, $4.8 million. Number 4, Migration, $5.1 million. At number 3, Wonka with $5.9 million. At the number 2 spot was Mean Girls with $7.2 million. And an interesting twist of fate. So you ready for this? Beekeeper. Yeah, the new number 1 movie, $7.4 million. I don't know what to tell you. It's amazing just taking a listen and a look around this. Now, listen, I'm going to share some information with you here. Some showbiz information that we normally don't share on this side. We normally do that once we get to, the hour 2 and 3 of this little bad boy. But this morning, we're going to share some info. We're going to share some stuff in regards to some things that are going on. But following allegations of sexual assault from former employee, Vince McMahon has resigned from his position as executive chairman of TKO, the parent company of WWE. Despite his exit, McMahon continued to deny any wrongdoing. A lawsuit alleging that McMahon forced former employee Jeanette Grant into a sexual relationship in order to keep her job. It also states that McMahon allegedly passed around photos and videos of her to other men, including WWE employees. Former wrestler and former head of talent relation and general manager of the WWE, John Laurinaitis, is also named in the suit. Grant is seeking unspecified monetary damages and is asking the court to void a $3 million non-disclosure agreement on which she says that she only has received $1 million. This is according to CNBC. Now, listen, this is scandal in the wrestling business. Sports entertainment. Keep in mind that TKO is the parent company to WWE and to the UFC. And over the weekend, or on Friday, before all this stuff went down, Slim Jim had decided to stop sponsoring the WWE Come Friday night, there was already information going around that Vince McMahon had stepped down, tendered his resignation, and Slim Jim came back Saturday morning and said, okay, we're back in business with WWE. So I don't know. It's going to be some interesting times. This will be the first time since the WWE, yes, that's what it was called before, and WWF after that, that there has not been a McMahon in a dominant position inside of that organization. So it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. No doubt about that. What an interesting world we live in as we are talking. So with that being said, let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world, because why would we not? So take a listen to this real quick. Let's see. The charges against country music star Chris Young are being dropped. Nashville District Attorney posted on Friday the charges will be dismissed after a review of all evidence. Singer-songwriter was arrested in Nashville on charges of assaulting an officer, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. Authorities say that the singer followed Tennessee Alcohol Beverage Commissioned agent and began to record them at a bar and made contact with one of the other officers. So there you go. That's what's going on there. What else do we have? Take a listen to this. An opponent turned supporter of Donald Trump says the former president represents the return to normalcy. Take a listen.
Myself and all the voters that support Donald Trump supports a return to normalcy as it relates to what affects their kitchen table.
Scott dropped out of the race in November and officially announced his support for Trump at a New Hampshire rally heading into last Tuesday's primary. When asked about the $83 million judgment against Trump in writer E. Jean Carroll's civil damages trial, ABC this week, Scott said that he believes that average American isn't concerned with the lawsuit involving the former president. So there you go. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina says that the average American isn't concerned with lawsuits involving former president. Take a listen.
The perception that the legal system is being weaponized against Donald Trump is actually increasing his poll numbers.
So what do you think about this? Because it's all over the place. I mean, I don't even know what to say with some of the things that are going on in the political scenes as of late. I mean, but that's just kind of the way that it goes. Anyways, families and friends are remembering the victims of recent Gillette killings. A loved one spokesperson, a vigil yesterday outside of their homes where the victims were found dead on January the 21st. Take a listen.
We know that heaven is rejoicing as our families were welcomed home. We know that there are difficult days ahead of us.
Police say that Romeo Nance killed his mother, aunt, uncle, and siblings at the two homes before shooting another man in a random attack. He died later of a self-inflicted gunshot wound after being pursued by the U.S. Marshals in Texas. His girlfriend has been charged with obstructing justice in investigation of the massacre. This is going down, or happened last night in regards to what is going on. So there you go. With that being said, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. So why don't we go ahead and do that thing that we do around this time? Because, hey, I think it's important to do. If not, I wouldn't be doing it, right? I mean, I guess that's the case.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So listen, I don't know where you are right now. I mean, I don't know if you're listening to the podcast. I don't know if you're listening to the radio stream. I don't know if you're watching the video where we get to hang out and do all kinds of interesting stuff. But look, it is that day of the week that most people don't like. You know, I have a case of the Mondays. I have a case of I don't like this, I don't like that, and it's referenced for a reason. I don't know why they're referenced. It is referenced. I like getting into some of this stuff because I think it's important to talk about. I think it's important to go ahead and talk about some of the things that happen. But do you wake up on Monday and go, oh, let's rejoice because Monday is around, or let's not rejoice because Monday is about to happen? Like, were you dreading to wake up this morning to go to work? Were you super excited when it was Friday last week? Like, were you like, hey, I'm glad it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I always have a hard time with some of this. And listen, I'm not bouncing judgment here. I always look at it from the standpoint is that if that's what's going on kind of in your mind, you're probably not doing the thing that you want to be doing. And for what you get to do for work and what I get to do for work, I try to have a good time. I really do. I mean, I don't want anybody to be going to work and having a miserable time because that just seems like it would suck. Now, for years and years and years, I always looked at it and went, wow, this is not the best job. And I started to try to do my own thing. Eventually, we got there. But I look at it and go, if you have a case of the Mondays, there's probably more than likely a sign of things not going too well on what you're doing. The other thing that I'll reference real quick is I didn't ever care about being off on Saturdays. My thing was I always wanted to be off one day of the week and one day during the weekend, preferably Sunday, because I always felt like Sunday didn't have a lot of things going on. And I would like to have Monday off because it gives me the first day of the week to do anything that I need to do during the week and just get it over with. But that's me. Now, you're probably going, why in the hell are you talking about this? Because it doesn't sound a lot about safety in regards to what we're talking about. But here's the thing. I worked for a place where they had something called FOF, which meant fuck off Friday. So you would go in on a Friday and it was like, do whatever you need to do and get the hell out of here. And then you had the thing on Monday where nobody really wanted to be there. And it was I have to go back to work and blah, blah, blah. And I look at it and I go, how much focus are you putting on to safety programs? How much focus are you putting on the things that are going on with safety inside of your organization if these are the things you're thinking about? I know it's a weird one, but think about it for a moment. If you're focusing mostly on, I don't want to be here on a Friday, or I hope Friday hurry ups and ends, and I don't want to be here on a Monday, it kind of is limiting you to about 3-day work week, depending on how you look at it. And listen, I'm not here to pass judgment because we all have different feelings on when it comes to work. No doubt there. But what do you want to do? Like, what is going to make you happy? Because at the end of the day, if you're not happy in what you're doing, why are you doing it? Here's the thing, and I hate to be this jerk, but I have to be to an extent when I mention this, because it's going to sound kind of jerky. You are aware that if something were to happen to you, your job would replace you relatively quickly by posting an ad, putting it on boards in regards of, hey, we need a replacement. On the other side of the equation, if something was to happen to you and it were only focusing on your family members, that would have a large impact inside of your household, inside of your home, inside of your family space, if something did happen there. So maybe prioritizing which one's more important is the way to look at it. And if you're looking at it and going, hey, I hate Mondays, thank God it's Friday, maybe you're not doing the right thing overall. Not that it's a bad thing, but think about it. Where do you want to devote your time?
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Let me talk to you real quick. What is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck at the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing the dinner is on its way. HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, so it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Go to HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free. That's HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free to use the code SafetyFM-free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free with code SafetyFM-free. And don't forget that this is why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, I feel like a monster. And I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, sleeping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of me. Yeah, I feel like a monster. And I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, sleeping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of me. Yeah, I feel like a monster.
Okay, feeling like a monster here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, this right here. Yeah, if you were wondering, this is Willie Echo with Monster. Yeah, it is 43 minutes past the top of the hour, just in case if you were wondering. We are still broadcasting from the Safety FM studios. This right here, downloadable. All you have to do is go to YouTube Music, Apple Music, or Spotify, and you can feel like a monster as well. Yeah, we'd like to thank Willie Echo for this one. Yeah, feeling like a monster. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Thank you. That is for sure. Yeah, I have to tell you, we get these new music in here and I don't want to let it go. Yeah, I guess I have a big problem with letting go. There you go. So let me talk to you. Yeah, let's talk about this because this is going to be the most important thing that I'm going to tell you all day. Shit, let's not lie. This is going to be the most important thing I'm going to tell you my whole life. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to twloha.com. That's twloha.com to find out more information. Listen, you go there, click on the section that says Find Help. A plethora of information will come your general direction in regards of what you can do, what you can say, what can change. So they have information on there about addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support resources, just to name a few. That's just a few of the things that they have on there. I mean, they have a whole crap load of stuff. And I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And maybe crap load's not the correct word to use. But man, there is all kinds of stuff that's on there that you can take a look at. twloha.com to write love on her arms. Listen, you might not need it today. You might not need it tomorrow. You might know someone who needs this information. twloha.com. Let's continue talking because we need to do that. Let's take a note for a moment. Even though taking classroom notes on a computer is now more popular than handwriting in school, and university scientists say that those who still take notes by hand are more likely to retain the information that they are learning, Norwegian researchers found that the handwriting is better for the brain connectivity, meaning that it could actually improve memory while studying. Now, they are urging students to consider handwriting their notes rather than typing them, as it may be an advantage on an exam, as it comes in addition. The team also is advising schools to give students the requirement of a minimum amount of handwriting and learning. You bet that the physically writing things down can help you remember. I prove it every weekend when I forget to bring the grocery list again. On the other hand, if your penmanship is anything like mine, well, then you might run into some problems. What do you think? Not about the penmanship thing, just what do you think in general? It's an interesting one, no doubt about that. So there you go. There you go. For some reason, it is some fun times as we are talking, no doubt. What do you think? Interesting one.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Yep. So let's continue talking for sure about some things that are going on inside of the world of the news, because that is what we do around here. There is no doubt about that. Let's talk about a couple of different things that are going on. Let's talk about some South Florida chill. A chilly breeze starts in the new work week. The morning in the Palm Beaches, Broward, Miami-Dade, and even the Keys woke up to low 50s, and the areas are getting ready to bundle up tonight. Take a listen.
As far as this year's concerned, it's been a bit cloudier, and, we've had a few more frontal systems push through the area, frontal boundaries push through the area.
National Weather Service meteorologist Chuck Karuska says that tonight will be the coldest, with many areas seeing the 40s. The chill should last most of the week, with slight warm up on Saturday. So there you go. I mean, I know people here complaining about the 40s. Think about that for a second. Anyways, a tragic scene is now in the hands of Miramar homicide investigation. Take a listen to this.
We're talking about two 17-year-olds that their lives, one is deceased and the other one, her life will never be the same.
The police department, Tania Ruiz, says that two were found with bullet-riddled white Hyundai Sonata along South University Drive overnight. The boy is dead and the girl remains in critical condition. They have a $5,000 Broward Crime Stopper reward. Call if you have any information or camera footage. The number is 954-493-TIPS. That's 8477. That's 954-493-8477 or TIPS, however you want to take a look at it. So there you go. Some very interesting stuff as we are talking. Take a listen to this. The actor who played Captain America will be in Washington today to talk about his efforts to move and get more young people engaged on civics. Rory O'Neill reports.
Actor Chris Evans co-founded A Starting Point, a civic engagement platform, with fellow actor Mark Kasson. The two will appear before the National Press Club to talk about their bipartisan website, which uses frequent video chats to discuss issues of the day.
Is AI ready to be used in the criminal justice system?
From a young person's perspective, why does U.S. spending and the debt matter? Right? Why should young people care?
Youth engagement may be critical in the upcoming election. I'm Rory O'Neill.
Okay, thank you, Rory O'Neill, for that information right there. No doubt about that. President Biden says that response is coming following the drone attack at a U.S. outpost in Jordan that killed 3 American service people.
And we shall respond.
Biden held a moment of silence for the fallen soldiers during an event in South Carolina on Sunday, calling it a tough day in the Middle East. The White House is blaming Iranian-backed militant groups for the strike. It marks the first time the U.S. troops have been killed by enemy fire in the Middle East since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. Biden also held a moment of silence for the fallen soldiers during an event in South Carolina. Take a listen.
I want to point out that we had a tough day last night in the Middle East. We lost 3 brave souls in an attack on one of our bases.
Sorry about that. That audio seems a little bit rough in regards of what's going on. Take a listen to this. A big boost in salary for San Diego Community College workers. Bree Tennis has more.
As of January 1st, about 250 full-time employees at San Diego Community Colleges got a bump in pay to $30 an hour, $22.31 for temporary employees. That's their new minimum wage, and it's based on MIT's living wage calculator. That says 2 working adults raising 2 children in San Diego need to make at least $30.58 an hour to support their family. I'm Bree Tennis.
So there you go, $30.58 an hour to be able to survive. There you go. Take a listen to this. Okay, Snoop Dogg says he has nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump, the rapper who once said that he was going to vote for the first time just to get former president out of office, told the British outlet on Sunday The Times that the Trump has only done great things for him, specifically as he pointed out Trump's pardon to his Death Row Records co-founder Michael Harris, who served 30 years in prison for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. So there you go. Snoop Dogg taking a look at what is going on and deciding what he wants to do going forward. So there you go. Take a listen to this one. Help is here. 400 residents affected by rapid rising flood waters from those heavy rains that pounded San Diego County last week. The country's assistance center is open to Spring Valley Library, which is 15 miles east of downtown San Diego. Jeff Toney is with the Office of Emergency Services. Take a listen.
Post-disaster, we like to set these up because really I think this is where the healing starts. We physically want to bring services straight out to the community. We've got 25 agencies, both governmental agencies, charitable groups, so we can fill unmet needs right here physically.
The center will open from 10 a.m. until 7 o'clock tonight, the same hours for Tuesday and Wednesday. San Diego County Supervisor Nora Vargas says that there is a lot of immediate help for flood victims from last week's vicious storms. Take a listen.
We want to make sure that our community that was impacted by the floods understands that this is a place that they can come as a one-stop shop. This is really important to me because I want to make sure that folks are able to get access to resources. They're able to ask questions.
Jeanette Jackson says that she lost a lot in the flood, and the San Diego Assistance Center has helped her receive immediate help from the county and state.
They have services that can help me. Food, clothing. I lost birth certificates. They're helping me with that. This is a blessing for all the people that have lost stuff.
So with that being said, let's go ahead and do this. Let's get into the Motivation Minute. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life real quick.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by RC. Jackie Gleason said, "The second day of a diet is always easier than the first. By the second day, you're off it." I can relate. My wife and I have done one diet after another, and now we usually stick with them longer than a day. It's almost always at least a month or two, sometimes even longer. But then we either quit or we hit our goal, and then we're done with the diet. But sadly, then we go back to our old habits, and guess what? We gained all the weight right back. What did we think was going to happen? I'm really excited for something we've been doing differently this year. Now, in addition to the diet, we've been using hypnosis. Now, I know that sounds weird, but it's working really well for us. Who knew? This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
New York City has become the first city in the nation to declare social media an environmental toxin, especially when it comes to children's mental health. Natalie Migliori with more.
Most New Yorkers agree with the mayor's concern for future generations.
Putting on your entire life on social media like that is dangerous.
Data from 2021 shows 77% of New York City teens spent 3 or more hours in front of screens on any given day.
A doctor with the Yale School of Medicine says he's concerned about recent cases of measles in Pennsylvania, Virginia, and now Georgia. Dr. Thomas Murray focuses on infectious diseases, and he says about 90% of susceptible people exposed to measles will come down with the highly contagious virus. It was eliminated from the U.S. in the year 2000, but has been making a comeback as childhood vaccination rates fall below the threshold. Health updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Of course it's something magical, isn't it always, as we are talking? Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this day, back in, 2019. Josie Smollett claims that he was attacked in Chicago. The actor described his attacker as a white man wearing a MAGA hat who shouted racial and homophobic slurs and poured unknown chemical substance on him and tied a noose around his neck. It would later come to light that the alleged attack was staged by the actor himself. So there you go. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today, because why would we not do that? So let's take a look. Madison Bailey turns 25. Louis Pullman turns 31. Adam Lambert turns 42. Heidi Mueller, 42. Riff Raff, 42. Andrew Keegan, 45. Justin Hartley, 47. Shan Giblet turns 49. Heather Graham, 54. Paul Ryan, 54. Romeo turns 58. Oprah Winfrey, 70. Charlie Wilson, 71. And Jillian turns 74. And Tom Selleck, well, he turned 79 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays for you that are going on inside of this particular world. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, Free Thinkers Day, National Corn Chip Day, National Bubble Wrap Day, National Carnation Day, and then last but not least, it's also National Puzzle Day. What do you know about it? Well, let's hear some more.
It's National Puzzle Day, a celebration of the minds that partake in puzzles. From jigsaw to Sudoku, puzzles are a pastime of 48% of American adults. Psychology Today says puzzles improve memory, cognitive function, and problem-solving skills. And if you do them, you're detail-oriented and most likely highly intelligent. I'm Bree Tennis.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you, Bree Tennis, for that information right there. No doubt about that. Let's take a look at some of these other things. If you need a random joke for today, well, I have one of those for you. I believe that I do, right? Yep, it should go something along these lines. Apparently, I don't know how to read. I have a motivational problem, but only until I reach the point of having a deadline problem. So there you go. Also, if you need a phone starter for today, try this. What is the most overrated product out there? Question for the water cooler. The average person will produce over 14 pounds of this in their lifetime. What is it? Belly button lint. Yeah, that's something to think about. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to end our time together. If you want to come with me over to the top of the hour, I'll be going over to RadioBig.fm for the next couple hours or so. So you're more than welcome to come and hang out with me. If not, you can hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus here on Safety FM, as he'll talk about the world and business of safety consulting. So there you go. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. Without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. That is for sure. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. There are no traffic jams on the extra mile. Think about that. Think about that for a moment. That's for sure. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Make clear, yeah. I can be rude, be in the mood, I can be rotten. I can be cool, might like the fool, but never forgotten. Creeping in the dark, waiting for you. You don't like what you see. Yeah, I feel like a monster. And I'm just here to